All right, welcome in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 7 a.m., Thursday, February the 12th, right here on Jocks. A lot happening, a lot to get to. With no football, still a busy sports weekend. What will you be into? What will you be watching, if anything? College baseball gets going this weekend. Daytona 500 this weekend. Also, you have the NBA All-Star Game this weekend. Things that some of us used to be dialed into no matter what, used to watch regardless, and now might not be must-see TV for a lot of other folks. We have a streak in college basketball that we need to discuss from a team that we have not discussed this season. So a lot to get you from a college football perspective, a new hire for the SEC. We'll discuss that. A strategy that one college head coach is throwing out on offense that I want to know if people are buying into, believe, like, don't like. We'll kind of see exactly what happens there and kind of how that gets going. So they've got this as breaking news on WBRC right now with the traffic that John Saber is stuck in. Do we know the reasoning for why this is stopped?
Nah, I hadn't seen the tape. Hadn't heard anything.
All right, Destiny's telling us it's a trap. It's a crash.
Oh.
But it looked like they had somebody pulled over to the side, and then that was the reason they weren't letting people around. But either way.
Multiple lanes closed.
459 looks rough right now. I-20 West looks rough right now. So just check that out before maybe you get out on the roads today if you're tuning in. You can listen on the app. You can download that in your app store. You can tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill. You can also watch us live on YouTube every day. Search Jocks945. Quarterback rankings are out from a lot of different college football talking heads. People who cover college football. Do we think this is a better/deeper quarterback class going into this season than last season? Remember, last season was supposed to be a little bit down. A couple of guys exceeded expectations. Some guys didn't quite live up to expectations. I think Nussmeier's still going to get drafted high, but he's a guy that I think we all thought would be in the discussion as the number one overall pick. Not going to be that. Lenore Seller's going to come back. Can he bounce back and maybe be the guy that we thought he was going to be last year? See, I think he's an interesting one because how do you really evaluate a guy that almost never had time in the pocket? Just couldn't even take a legitimate drop the majority of the time. How do you do that? Where do you go with that? Got some other folks who are putting out their mock drafts. Those are coming out. And then Valentine's Day is this weekend.
It is.
Are you ready? Have you made your purchases? Will you make a purchase? Does it matter anymore?
It does. It does.
It is interesting because my wife takes this 5 times more serious for our children than she does for us. It is a huge deal for our kids, for her. We don't even really acknowledge it. Just not even a thing. It won't be a thing in our house. We won't really talk about it. There won't be, I might grab her something. She's not getting me anything. I can tell you that. That's not happening.
You're not banking on it.
It's just not, no. That hasn't happened in a long time. I'm not planning on that happening now. Don't think that's going to happen. Not looking forward to it. Not expecting it either. So, Alabama has their A-Day set for April the 11th. It sounds like some spring games are coming back.
Like actual scrimmage likes.
Yeah, like game situations that maybe are going to be able to be televised. Like you put some people in there and you'll call it. You'll actually see some guys in action. I think this is good. This is great. We've talked about this college football calendar being a little more year-round. We like the fact that we can talk about college football every day, every week of the year, every month of the year. This will just be another reason to kind of keep that going and get it going again. We don't have to worry about people having carnivals and, fun activities, different things that they're doing around what used to be a spring game. Now maybe we get back to some actual live tackle football. And it'll help us to an extent. I get it. It's not the end-all be-all. But I always am able to take a little bit from it to shape my opinion towards a certain team of, okay, I feel better about this group, give my stamp of approval to that position group. Really concerned about that. Was mildly concerned before. That was a question mark. Now I'm really worried about it. You can kind of take that and morph it just a little bit.
Do you think just because of the way, like you said, the calendar in which college football is now, and the fact that situational awareness in football has kind of changed a little bit, that you need to get as many game-like reps as going ahead into the season. So you use the spring game where at one point in time, it's basically 7-on-7, get out there, it's for the fans. But now we need to make sure that we at least have some sort of foundation before we get into the season. And also just get a look at so like Trinidad Chambliss, for example, had he had a spring game instead of, like the carnival that they had in the spring, would we have known a little bit going into the season that, hey, maybe if Austin Simmons doesn't work out, we at least know that the backup quarterback is pretty decent.
I don't think there's any doubt. From a quarterback receiver standpoint, an offensive line continuity, a side of the football continuity, be it offense, defense, secondary communication, linebackers communicating with DBs, defensive linemen, not even just situationally, Damian, but I just think guys being on the field together at the same time, doing football-related activities, making calls, making checks, understanding this is when you come off this coverage. This is when you turn this route loose. This is how we handle this pressure. This is what we want to get to here. That kind of stuff can put you way ahead of the curve. And I use the example of talking about Western Kentucky last year. Their offensive line, they all got there after spring. They didn't have those reps. If you have 4 of the guys that haven't played in a game together but could have a spring practice, and then you throw in a game-like situation when you're in front of a crowd and it's live, and you can go out there and have to make those decisions quickly, have the understanding of this is who's responsible for this edge defender coming here. This is when we're not responsible for that inside linebacker coming through the A-gap. It's, I think, massively beneficial to just get guys on the field together, get reps together, and the closer you can get that to being game-like, the more valuable it's going to be. So I think coaches, now that they don't have to be – listen, college football is, I don't want to say a copycat league. It's a copycat sport because all of the leagues are copying everybody else and what everybody else does. I mean, you had basically one coach shut this down last year, and that shut it down for just about everybody else. Well, if they're not doing it, we're not doing it. And the reasoning became pretty obvious pretty quick, and that was, we don't want you seeing what we have because we think he's going to leave. You'll give him an offer and he'll bail. We can't have that. We need the depth. We need to protect guys on our lineup. Well, now you might not have to worry about as much of that, so you'll go out there and you'll allow them to compete. You'll allow them to be in game-like situations. Well, let's take Alex Golesh, for example, at Auburn. It's Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. You're going to have a new starting quarterback, whether he's been in a couple of snaps in games or not. As far as being the guy, being the field general, being the one that operates the offense down in, down out, series in, series out, you want to give him every opportunity to go do that in a game-like situation. What do you have on your hands? Because we talk about this a lot, 5-star, 4-star, whatever star it is. Sometimes guys get in the game and they melt. Sometimes mentally, emotionally, they're just not ready for it. They can't handle it. So now you can put them in that situation and say, oh, he's good. He's good. He'll be able to handle that. Sometimes guys get in live situations, the technique and the fundamentals go out the window. They're gone. They're done. So I don't think this is just from a fan's perspective of being able to view things in the spring, being able to see their teams, the old adage of, well, you can take a family of 4 for less than $100. I get it. It's expensive to go to games now. But that is just another advantage that some folks might have. They can go to that and they can't go to regular season games. That's also great. But you're able to put guys in live competitive situations in which you can't really mimic in practice. I can tell you, Damian can tell you, if Greg were here, he would tell you. Even in a spring situation, I'll say this, going from the practice field to the stadium is different. Because a lot of times in the stadium, the coaches will remove themselves from being behind you on every play, and your brain goes to a different place. You're just a little bit more at ease. You know you're not going to have your coach barking at you right before the snap. He's not telling you what to look at. All of a sudden, you relax just a little bit. Well, now you throw in 20, 30, 50, 60,000 fans, and that goes a little bit further down the road of being closer to what it's going to be like in a game situation. So I think it's great. I actually enjoy watching them. I don't know why people complain about them. I don't know why people get mad at them. Now, I'm talking about the more traditional sense. I'm not talking about, some of the stuff that we've seen at Tennessee, like pre-scrimmage, or what we've seen at Ole Miss the last few years. I'm not talking about that. I don't need any of that. But when it's offense versus defense, and they actually have officials on the field, and they have the down markers, it's 2nd and 4. Now I will say some of the scoring,
Yeah.
you can have it.
Yeah, that does.
The defense winning 56-48.
Yeah, and they start off with 21.
Yeah,
So it's
just
21 nothing.
just stop it. 2 points for a third down stop. I mean,
Right.
I don't just
go out there and play.
give us two teams and play. And I understand you want like your O-line together, whatever, but I almost think it's more valuable to just go ahead and separate the groups and say, this is who you're with, figure it out. Because there will be times in games during the season you're going to be with different guys, and you got to figure it out. It's just it's the way it goes. You got to make that happen. So McElroy's headed off to a ski trip. He did say he's going to hop on and give us our Olympic update today.
Hadn't seen anything yet.
We'll wait for that. We'll patiently wait for that. We'll get our Olympic update from him. I didn't have a chance to watch any yesterday. You dial in it. No curling yesterday. No downhill Super G. No figure skating.
Nah.
Okay.
No, Winter Olympics is it's not really my thing. Like, I'll glance at it. I didn't get a chance to the past however many days it's been going on. But listen, I just want the USA to handle business and come home with the gold. I
did see that Finland's ski jumping head coach Igor Medved was sent home from the Winter Olympics due to an alcohol-related issue yesterday.
Oh boy, you're there for work, my brother.
I mean, that's almost Barrett Robbins level right there. Of you go down to Tijuana the night before the Super Bowl and don't show up. And I would imagine if you're a ski jumping coach, this is essentially your Super Bowl. Exactly. I don't know what other competitions you have during the course of the year or every 4 years, but I would have to say if we're comparing it to other sports, Olympic Games probably in the Super Bowl category of importance of events.
Right, keep the main thing the main thing.
Somewhere in there, importance-wise. So he did issue an apology saying, I made a mistake. I'm very sorry. I want to apologize to the entire Finnish team, athletes, and also the fans. How about your country?
Because you let them down.
The whole country. Because that's who you were technically representing there. I'd throw them into that mix as well. Just get them out there, and you'd be sorry for all of that. We're starting to get some of these. I mentioned the quarterback rankings a little bit earlier, too. We got some bold predictions
already
coming out for teams. It's never too early.
Never.
For top 25s or bold predictions or position rankings. But we love these kind of things because it gets us talking. Gets us thinking about, oh, I forgot about that guy. Oh, yeah, I really like that guy. We'll see kind of where that goes, what that looks like. We've got a couple that we're going to throw out for you today. We'll discuss that. A little bit of college basketball that we're going to get to. John Talty is going to join us at 8:20 this morning. The coach, Wim Sanderson, with us at 9 this morning. Blake Toppmeyer going to be with us at 9:20. So we got a lot to get to right here on Mac and Cube in the morning. We will continue the college football conversation on those quarterbacks. Think about this through the break. Of all of college football, if you could have one right now to lead your team just in college football next year. We're not talking draft perspective, who's going to be number one, who's going to lead a franchise for the next 5 years in the NFL. Just college football next year. Because there's a name that I think a lot of people would take first. Is there a guy, a player, that maybe other people, when they take their time with this, may show up ahead of him? We'll have that discussion. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. Tweet into the show at Mac and Cube. And maybe an Olympic update next, right here on Jocks. 7:17. Thursday, February 12th, right here on Jocks. JocksFM.com. Also, you can search Jocks945 to watch us live on YouTube each and every day. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. We'll talk some college football quarterbacks. Still waiting on our Olympic update from McElroy, who's on his way to his ski trip. Told us he was going to call in and give us his Olympic update from yesterday. We haven't gotten that yet.
No, not yet.
Haven't gotten that.
I hadn't gotten it.
We'll continue to wait for that one. I didn't watch the Olympics yesterday, so.
Same. I heard the curling's good.
I'm not. It's not for me, but that's okay. Certain people love it. Certain people like it. It's not. I can't get into it. It's a little slow for me. I will say this from an Olympic perspective. Did you see Lindsey Vohn's x-rays?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. One, I commend her for coming back from a torn ACL, but after all of that, it's like that is the absolute worst thing that could have possibly happened. Like that was brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah, she's got an X-fix on her leg, basically shattered tibia fibia, like multiple fractures in both, which is going to be a difficult heal. X-fix where they are going to essentially they'll put pins in to the bone, they'll be protruding out from the skin, and you'll have a fixator on the outside holding together. I had one on my wrist when I was in high school. It's not fun. Just managing it actually is a pain. It's not easy. It's not enjoyable. But to see what she went through after coming back, that's brutal, man. You hate to see that, and hope that she makes a full recovery. But that was the crash looked bad. Being airlifted off the mountain, you knew something was serious. But that's pretty next level. All right, let's go to some of these quarterback rankings. Of the 3 or 4 that I found, there seem to be 2 that are towards the top of the list that are going to be maybe number 1. I do think it's debatable of who one will be, should be right now. As far as if you're going to take one quarterback in college football right now, who would it be? Do you have an obvious number 1, Damian? 800-239-9569. You want to get in on our 2026 college football quarterback rankings, where this would be. Is there one name that sticks out for you that you would say, hey, I don't care who the team is, I don't care who the weapons are, what the offense is, I'll take that guy right now?
Absolutely. If he's eligible, Trinidad Chambliss.
Big if. And he was left off a lot of these lists, but you would have to put him towards the top if he is available. Now, a couple of things that may sort of change that, complicate that, new offensive coordinator. Some new pieces around him offensively as well. So you don't know exactly how that's going to flow, but what he can do as a player, plays he can make, he's up there with any of these guys that we'll talk about today. The consensus, I say not consensus, but the probably most votes at 1 based on the polls that I have seen is Dante Moore at Oregon. You look surprised that I threw that name out first.
I would take Gunnar Stockton before I get Dante Moore.
Okay. Crane and Company had theirs, Dante Moore, Gunnar Stockton. J.D. Piquel had Dante Moore, Julian Sayin. Our guy Ari Wasserman had Arch Manning, Dante Moore. Arch Manning, the name that I feel like most people are going to have towards the top of that list. Some people, you're going to need gigantic numbers to be their number 1 quarterback. You're going to have to throw for 4,500 yards, 48 touchdowns, and that's going to be sort of the determining factor. I'll say it again. I've said it for a long period of time. One of the many reasons Indiana was so impressive last year is you go back and look at the statistics for Fernando Mendoza. They were not prototypical Heisman numbers. I think in a great way for a team, but a lot of people that are going to look at those numbers, they're going to say, wait a minute, what? May I ask the question again? How many 300-yard games you guys out there listening to the show you think Fernando Mendoza had last year?
I think was it 2? 0.
1. One game of 300 or more yards. Now, he did throw 41 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
That's good. We'll take that.
Had some extra games.
He did.
That helped a little bit. How many times do you think he threw the ball 35 times or more?
I'll say twice.
It's going to be 0.
0.
Matter of fact, he threw the ball over 30 times 2 times last year. He had 31 attempts against Old Dominion. He had 31 attempts against Oregon the first time. That's it. He had 30 attempts against Penn State. And keep in mind, that's a late 2-minute drill in which he had to try and march his team down the field. So the best quarterback in college football, if you go NFL draft results, because he's going to be number 1. If you go Heisman Trophy, because he won that. Mm-hmm. If you go winning games, he won a national title. Yeah. Had one 300-yard game and no games over 35 attempts. But that's not going to play for a lot of people every single season. It's just not what it's going to be. Most people are going to need those gaudy stats to say, this is where you are, this is what you're going to be. Now, then you throw in the mobility factor, which a lot of people are going to put an extra emphasis on. You would go Gunnar Stockton, he'll have some of that. He'll be able to add that. Arch Manning showed last year he can be great with his legs. He may add some of that. Darian Mensah may add a little bit more of that. Lenore Seller's going to add a lot of that.
100%.
What did we say? He ran for like 9,000 yards in one game, technically?
Yeah.
If you just count the actual distance that he moved on the field. Pretty ridiculous. So it's going to be dependent on some different things for different people. Also, how far can some of these new quarterbacks in new places rise? Because as we have stated on this show many times, it doesn't always just work. And we look a lot of times at quarterbacks and their talent or their stars or what they did statistically or win-wise somewhere else, and we put them in new place and we just say, it's going to work. It's going to be great.
Yep, plug and play.
It's not always the way it goes. But you've got Mensah going to Miami. You've got Levitt going to LSU. How many of those are just going to work? And how many of those are – you got Brendan Sorsby going to Texas Tech. How many of these are going to be just plug and play? Here we go. Josh Hoover, Indiana.
Right.
He has the ability.
Yeah.
He almost went for 4,000 yards 2 years ago. Didn't quite.
Didn't necessarily get there.
No.
But he was close.
So I'll throw some of the names out that maybe we haven't mentioned in some of the rankings. Like I'll go to Ari Wasserman's rankings here. Arch Manning 1, Dante Moore 2, Sam Levitt 3. Now, Sam Levitt, some of the points that you just brought up, Damien, about us having actual spring games this year, Sam Levitt's not going through spring. It's a new offense. Mm-hmm. Now, let's flip that coin over. The question that I asked going into last season in reference to 2 offenses in the SEC, both Josh Heupel and Lane Kiffin. The last quarterback to fail in Lane Kiffin's system was? Or let me not even say fail. The last quarterback to not be pretty good.
When he was with Oakland, who was it? It wasn't Jamarcus Russell, was it?
I think it may have been.
So, yeah, it's been a while.
Not a lot of college quarterbacks don't succeed in that system. And they'll have some weapons, and they bolstered the offensive line, so you would think that that's going to work. Very oddly, there's a name who was elite last year that has not even been mentioned yet.
Elite?
Elite.
What conference?
The Big Ten. This is wild.
I'm trying to think.
Because I'm with you. I'm not with you, but because I've looked at the list. But
Malachi Nelson?
No. Julian Sayin completed 77% of his passes last year.
That's great.
3,610 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
That's also great.
And we'll have the best receiver in college football returning.
Ever.
So it's odd that people just kind of roll past his name.
Yeah. Like Julian Sayin didn't even he would have been, top 5, but it's the Ohio State way. It's very similar to Lane Kiffin and Josh Heupel. I hadn't seen a quarterback just not have success there. So it's kind of par for the course. I expect him to go out there and put up great numbers.
If you're starting a season today and you don't know anything else, receivers, offensive line, even coordinator, would you take Julian Sayin or Arch Manning? I'm just going to say it right now. Right this second, I'd take Julian Sayin. I understand how good his receivers were. If you go dissect his throws, the level of accuracy on a lot of his throws was big time. Big time. Does he have the mobility? No. Does he maybe have like the moxie, swagger, whatever you want to call that part of it? Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know.
But it feels like Arch does. Like Arch has that what Roman Harper talked about when he played with Cam Newton in Carolina, the ability to raise everybody else up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he brings everybody else up to his level. So he has that. I think Arch has a little bit of that. Maybe he has a lot of bit of that. We don't know exactly how much. But he's got some of that in him. So, but I'm just telling you right now, I think the 3 rankings that I saw yesterday, Julian saying was 5, 2, and 4.
Okay.
I think 2 of those 3 have him too low.
Would you take Julian Sayer or Dante Moore?
Julian Sayin. I haven't seen Julian Sayin panic and cost his team games. I have seen Dante Moore panic and cost his team games. I think Dante Moore right now, this can change with an offseason especially, he is comfortably elite. When everything's good, there's nobody better than him. Mm-hmm. It's when it's not really good. When everything is not as expected.
Right.
I question if he's on par with some of these other guys.
I'm with you.
Now, Josh Hoover's just a name that a lot of people don't know about. Kid can play. Now, physically, he's not. He doesn't have all the tools that some of these other guys do, specifically the stature, but he can play. Sam Levitt can play. And I think Sam Levitt can also elevate. Sam Levitt's got to be in the game.
Right.
He's got to be available. That's been his biggest issue. I also think Jaden Mayava's a guy that could take a massive step. He actually doesn't need to take a step. It's just people don't really know about him because USC hasn't really been in that spotlight. But he's there. He's that guy.
Gunnar Stockton.
If I want a gamer, here's what I'll say about Gunnar Stockton. And actually, with the way that I've had this conversation, I may be sleeping on him just a little bit. I think Gunnar Stockton improved more during the season than any of the guys we've mentioned. Arch Manning would be in that discussion also. Because Arch Manning was trying to Rob Dibble every ball into every receiver last year early in the season, like literally just throw it as hard as he could. I mean, he did not have a lot of comfort in the pocket or moving around. He found his calm as the season went on and gained confidence as the season went on. Behind an offensive line that was not very good, by the way. And gained a lot of ground, whereas with another offseason, he has a chance to be very different early in the year next year, I believe. So it's a tug of war with a lot of these guys of he has strengths here. You think about the fact that, and I'm not picking on Ari here, it's his opinion. He can have whatever he wants. Like, he doesn't have Lenore Sellers in his top 10. Like, you're telling me right now, if I tell you you're starting a college football team, there are 10 other quarterbacks you're taking before Lenore Sellers?
I don't think so. Because when he's on, he's on. When he's not running for his life. Even if he is running for his life, I still might get a first down.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Are you taking right now Lenore Sellers or Arch Manning?
Lenore Sellers.
Lenore Sellers or Dante Moore?
It's a slight lean to Lenore Sellers. Slight.
Sam Levitt.
Sam Levitt.
Julian Sayin.
Julian Sayin.
Josh Hoover.
I'd say Josh Hoover.
Gunnar Stockton.
Gunnar Stockton.
Jaden Mayava.
Lenore Sellers.
Darian Mensa.
Ooh. I'd say Darian Mensa.
Brennan Sorsby.
Lenore Sellers.
CJ Carr.
I would say Lenore Sellers. I think CJ Carr is good, but this will be kind of the telltale sign without Jeremiah Love back there for him.
Yeah, I would kind of say yet to be determined on that one.
Right.
I think CJ Carr has a chance to be towards the top of this list at the end of the year, but it's TBD a little bit.
See, what about new guy, new spot? What about Byron Brown?
As Greg and I have talked about a little bit, I think Byron Brown is very close to his ceiling as a college football player, but that's a really good ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're having this conversation with this list, a little bit of it, maybe for some people 10%, some people 30% of this is projection of what they still can be, where they still can go. And that's where I don't think Byron Brown has as much room as a Dante Moore, an Arch Manning, a Gunnar Stockton, a Jaden Mayava, a Brennan Sorsby even, or even a Julian Sayin, where there were times Julian Sayin maybe didn't see the rush quick enough, didn't leave the pocket fast enough, didn't do certain things that he needed to do. And you look at the fact that, okay, you've got to improve that just a little bit. So I think that's what Byron Brown maybe doesn't have, is that ability to still grow that much and become that kind of a player. But if you're just talking about known commodities, he's on that list. Absolutely. Deserves to be talked about on that list. And the comfort level he'll have with some of the same guys around him, even though it's a different place, should give him some big advantages. It's a fun conversation. 800-239-9569. You can tweet in at Mac and Q. Be a part of the conversation of top quarterbacks returning in college football. Who would you take to lead your team if you had any choice? We'll discuss it more next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Still no Olympic update. Waiting for that one. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. Talking top quarterbacks returning in college football next season. Thor tweeting into the show. Manning all day. I've seen bad turn into good, and I expect that progression to continue with more speed at wide receiver. I don't think talent at wide receiver was an issue at all last year. At all. Now he'll have a talented group around him again. Collectively more talent? I'm not sure. And I mean, Cam Coleman being added, I don't think the first thing you look at is speed being added. But I do think that receiver core is going to be elite, one of the best in college football, and it'll be able to help him out. The offense also going to help him out as well. A little bit more comfort level with that. Understanding when the ball's got to get out, understanding how Sark's trying to design things and find those matchups. Sark's going to create matchups for his guys that he knows can be problematic, be it tight end, running back, receiver, whatever that is. He'll make that easier on his quarterback than a lot of other coaches do. He's going to give him that opportunity to succeed. I would be more concerned with the offensive line and can they take a step to give him the time to find more balls down the field. Because if he can find those with a guy like Cam Coleman, now you have the ultimate deep threat in that your pass doesn't have to be perfect for him to be able to go up and attack it and come up with explosive plays. That's kind of what I would look at a little bit more so. But I think Arch can take another step because he took massive steps during the season, which I'm always more impressed with than maybe year to year. When I see you in the first 2-3 games of the year and you're a very different product the last 3 games of the year, that shows me that you're putting in the work, that you still have that room to grow and you're willing to grow and you don't just think that, hey, everything's going to work out the way that I feel like it is right now. Which, by the way, Trinidad Chan was not invited to the Combine.
Yeah, because he's getting ready to play for Ole Miss.
To point to something else of maybe he'll be playing at Ole Miss next year.
Let's go.
That could just be another reason that you're looking at, all right, this is kind of where this is going to go. But you look at these quarterbacks we've been referencing, not a lot of people are going to say C.J. Carr. Not a lot of people are going to say Brennan Sorsby. Not a lot of people are even going to say Josh Hoover. And you go look at Josh Hoover's numbers, they have been exceptional. Josh Hoover, great passer of the football. He's got good touch. I think he has enough arm to be able to do the things he's going to be asked to do in that system. This will just be dependent on, think about how good those receivers were last year.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you do have a couple coming back, but not all. And then how good's the run game to go with it that you can pair that up with? That the RPO game is going to be based off of, the play action game is going to be based off of, and then how do you go from there? But Josh Hoover last year, if you're just curious, 66% completed, 34-72, 29-13. The year before, 39-49, 27-11 on 67% completed. He went for over 2,200 yards as a part-time starter the year before. The kid can play, man. Now, his height is being discussed. Is he under 6 feet, over 6 feet? I've never stood next to him, so I don't know. I mean, you can watch him on film and know he's not a bigger guy.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't give you immediate stature just when you look at him and watch him play. But that system has shown us now for 2 consecutive years, Curtis Rourke, Fernando Mendoza, they're going to play to their strengths. They're going to give them the ability to succeed. How much they throw? The good news for Josh Hoover is, as we stated with Mendoza, they're not rolling into a game saying, hey, bud, carry us today. It's going to be take what the defense gives us. Where are our matchup advantages? We're going to force the defense into conflict, and then you go make those decisions. And you don't complete 66% of your passes 2 consecutive years in big-time college football and not know how to make decisions. So he'll have that going for him, Damian, which I think will give not just Indiana a chance to succeed, but Josh Hoover a chance to succeed.
Yeah, it's just the biggest thing for him is he's going to be compared to those guys. So it's, okay, how big of a drop-off is it from the Heisman Trophy winner in Fernando Mendoza? But like you said, he's played a ton of football, some of the continuity that you have returning. I actually have a question about another guy in the SEC. What do you think is the ceiling for a team that contended last year, but we saw the highs and also the lows? Marcel Reed, Texas A&M.
I think he's close to his ceiling right now.
Really?
I think Marcel Reed, the things that he struggles with, I'm very curious if he's going to be able to improve those. Keep in mind, we had them earlier, not very early, earlier in the season. And it was made very obvious to us, it was stated point blank, that they were going out of their way to develop him as a pocket passer because they knew the run stuff was going to be there and they could live and die on that later in the year if they needed to. They also didn't want to get him beat up. Number one, I would be concerned about the frame. He's not a big dude.
Yeah,
like he is not extremely well put together. When you add a guy who likes to utilize his mobility to that, you become a little bit concerned about what it's going to be. Now, I'll be interested to see what the offense looks like, how different it's going to be this year. I thought at times they maybe forced him into that pocket passer role a little bit too much. Like, let's look at the Miami game. You get down in there, a chance to go score. Like, quarterback run is your best friend right there.
Yep.
Specifically when you're going 4 and 5 wide. And the times in which they didn't lean on it, that he offered it up, it became overly concerning. So they have to find a way to go do what's best for the team as opposed to maybe what they think may be best for the quarterback. Just go win games.
Yep.
Just go call plays to win games. Don't call plays to develop him. Don't call plays to protect him. Don't call plays to make him look good. Go win games. And I do think there were times that, and I don't know what conversations Elko and Colin Klein had last year, so you can't necessarily point all the blame or a majority of the blame, but one or the other. But it was all a part of it. And I think he has a ton of skill, a ton of ability. He throws a nice deep ball. But some of the inaccuracies, I don't know if you clean those up.
Mm-hmm.
Like Arch, with Arch and some of the inaccuracies, we talk about the fact that, I mean, he was just overthrowing the football. He was trying to overpower the football. And some of the decisions were being made. It wasn't anticipation. It was being made last minute. So that kind of forced you into throwing footballs that way. With Marcel Reed, I think some of the inconsistencies that I see are there. The decisions being made on time, and the ball's just 4 yards short. Or the ball's 4 yards over the guy's head.
Right.
And you're just thinking, those can't happen. So they're inexplicable. I think his footwork is challenged. I think it needs a lot of improvement. His consistency with his feet and his throwing motion needs to continue to grow. And he can still grow. But if you're asking me, Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Gunnar Stockton, who's closer to their ceiling, I'd probably put him ahead of all those.
Gotcha.
As far as this is probably closer to the finished product than what we're going to be for some of those other guys. And I don't think it's going to help him going into a newer system this year. Regardless of if it's the same terminology, the same play calls, the same thought process, still going to be a different play caller. And that takes away from some of the rhythm, some of the feel, some of the relationship. There's that no between, hey, my guy likes this here.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's going to call this, so I'm going to be looking for that. That's going to be gone. That takes some time to get used to. But it's a good thought because he's still going to have a talented cast around him. He still has a boatload of talent himself. But it's just being that quarterback more consistently that I wonder if he's going to truly be able to grow into. Let's go SEC quarterbacks next. Just where we think he would fall among SEC quarterbacks if we're sort of not drafting him for the NFL, but drafting him to play on a college football team this fall. We'll do that next right here on Jocks. So if we're ranking SEC quarterbacks, where would your team's quarterback fall? Multiple college football quarterback rankings lists coming out yesterday. We've been discussing those, kind of who would be where and how. Flu season here. Make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. Removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. 100 times more effective than standard air filters. 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. Find a dealer near you at Trane.com. It's hard to stop a train. So if we did SEC lists, Arch Manning, I imagine, going to be at the top of the majority of those. Gunnar Stockton, Sam Leavitt would be, I would imagine, in the top 5, if not top 3, of pretty much everyone's lists. Where would some of the other quarterbacks come off the list, though? And some of this is going to have to be projections because we just don't know what some of these quarterbacks are going to look like once they take the field as full-time starters. We don't even know who Alabama's starter is going to be. We think we know. I think most people would say Keelan Russell, but I'm not saying that Austin Mack's out of that thing and can't win it and definitely won't win it. Now, Trinidad Chambliss is a name, as Damien's brought up. If he's in, gotta include him. Probably 2 or 3. Some people maybe 1, for good reason. I mean, guy won playoff games, multiple. Marcel Reed is going to be there for a lot of people. Here's an interesting name, though, because last year, this would have been a no-doubter. This would have been one that almost everybody said at 2 or 3. And it's not Lenore Sellers. We've mentioned Lenore Sellers. We've had the conversation around him. Where's John Mateer?
I knew it was coming. Do we get first month John Mateer for an entire season?
Well, do we get anybody blocked or nobody blocked? Because we saw that both last year.
Yeah. He's very similar to Marcel Reed, in my opinion. It's, man, when he's on, it looks phenomenal. But when he's off, it looks terrible because he will serve it up straight to the defense, straight to him. But also it's because he's got that gunslinger mentality of I can fit every ball in every window by any means necessary. So he has to be that conversation that you and Greg had a couple months ago when it's, can he avoid can he just throw it away? Like, can he live to see, 2nd and 8? Can he take the check down? And a lot of it's just, can he, the crisis management, because not everything, you don't have to be Superman every single snap.
Which is fair. Here's the problem with that. Sometimes he's at his best under duress.
Right.
When crisis hits, he is at his best. How do you manage that? For me, they've got to find a way to give him more options. They've got to find a way to give the defense more to defend consistently. The defense has got to be worried about the traditional run game. They've got to be worried about more throws than screens and quick throws. And as you stated, Damien, it's also fair. Like, he has to become a bit of a pocket passer. Now, I realize it's a little bit of talking out of both sides of your mouth because he's really good on the move and he's really good when he ad-libs. But if you can't sit in the pocket and win some battles, defenses are going to know they can defend you in a different way, and that's not always going to go the way that you state it was or you think it's going to. Then you let the ad-lib stuff go and take advantage of however you're defending certain things. So, and then we have even more new faces at new places. You mentioned Byron Brown at Auburn. You have to put him ahead of a lot of these other guys because you just look at the fact that he's going to be with a coach, with a coordinator, with some pieces that he was with the season ago. So that should give him some advantages. And then you just have youth in some places that we just don't know about. Like, we don't know how the Kentucky situation is going to play out. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you. Austin Simmons could absolutely rip it up at Missouri.
Right.
But it's still like I like Chip Lindsey. I think Chip Lindsey's a good offensive coordinator. I don't know if he is exactly on board with what Eli is from the sense of, well, they just run the same stuff. He's going to kind of put some different ingredients in the same meal. Like, I kind of don't see that way. Like, his offense feels a little more pro-stylish to me, not as East-West in the run game, not as built as much on the stretch play. And I know that Eli can get in there and sort of make some of that his own and how he wants it to be. But that's going to be an interesting watch, too, because there are portions of that that have been sort of rebuilt to a certain extent. Gunnar Stockton lost some weapons. Monroe Freeling's gone from that offensive line. You got a new offensive line coach in there. That thing could be a little bit different. We don't know exactly how that's going to look. Kamario Taylor's got all the talent at Mississippi State, and that's an offense, going back to the first part of our conversation, that will allow for the gaudy numbers. But consistently, can he be the guy that can pull the trigger? I mean, they've had a guy that we thought was going to be an easy fit and was easily going to go put up big numbers the last 2 years, and it kind of hasn't happened. So there are a lot of those out there in the SEC right now that we don't know how it's going to look. I mean, plug 5-star quarterback into Vandy's system. What if he just gets it? I mean, what if it's just like here's another one for you. We talk about Trinidad in the maybes. What if Joey Aguilar's Tennessee starting quarterback this year? It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Right. It's not over. It's not done. It isn't. By the way, down in Gainesville, you got a quarterback that's been sitting there waiting his turn with the same coordinator.
Right.
And they're going to be able to lean on Jaden Baugh to allow him to build through quarterback run, utilize play action RPO down the field, all the visual deception you're also going to get with that. No reason he can't have a good season. So there are a lot of uncertainties that feel like they have high ceilings from a quarterback perspective in the SEC this upcoming season, D, and I'm going to be interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with Joey Aguilar. In the event that he does play this fall, this will be the first time for Josh Heupel since, Hendon Hooker, his first 2 years, that he has the same quarterback going into the next season. And Joey Aguilar, he had some great moments. Like, you look at the first quarter against Georgia, it's like, oh, this is going to work. And then you saw other games where he has a little bit of the turnover gene, especially against Oklahoma, where it's, what are we doing? Like, how did this happen? So if the ceiling is high because, like you said, the system is geared for them to put up the numbers, it's, can you make the right decisions at the right moment?
Absolutely. So quarterback's going to be fun to watch in the SEC. A lot of that's going to depend on the cast. A lot of that's going to depend on the continuity, who comes together the earliest. And I'll say this, with some of these quarterback discussions that we're having around the Southeastern Conference, the egos of the coaches are going to greatly depend on how successful that they are. We saw that hamper a couple quarterbacks last year of, hey, it's going to be this. We're going to go do that. Quarterback wasn't ready for that. Quarterback couldn't do that consistently, and instead of getting away from it, kept trying to do it, kept banging their head on that wall. How adaptive can some of these coordinators be with those quarterbacks? Yet to be determined. We'll discuss it more next on Jocks.